A young woman walked quietly into a hospital in Austria after being missing for more than 20 years. At first, the moment seemed almost routine. Hospitals receive unfamiliar patients every day. People reconnecting with family members, travelers seeking treatment, or individuals returning after years away. But within minutes, the medical staff began noticing something unusual about her behavior. She looked around the room with visible uncertainty, as if the environment itself felt unfamiliar. The fluorescent lights above her head seemed to bother her. The quiet beeping of hospital machines caught her attention again and again. Even simple conversations seemed difficult for her to process. Doctors began exchanging concerned glances. Why would an adult react to ordinary surroundings as if she had never experienced them before? Then the woman quietly told investigators something that immediately changed the direction of the entire situation. She said she had not been living somewhere else. She had not been traveling. She had not started a new life in another city. Instead, she said something almost impossible to believe. She said she had spent the last 24 years inside a hidden basement beneath her father's house. For a moment, the statement sounded unreal. How could something like that happen? Austria was not an isolated place without institutions. It was a modern European country with organized communities, law enforcement systems, and neighbors living close to one another. So investigators asked themselves a difficult question. If her story was true, how had no one discovered it for more than 2 decades? But the situation became even more unsettling when police searched the property she described. Behind a reinforced steel door in the basement of the house, officers discovered a concealed network of rooms. These rooms had not been part of the original house design. They had been carefully constructed, hidden behind thick walls, and sealed away from the rest of the building. And inside those rooms were children who had never experienced the outside world. At that moment, investigators realized something disturbing. This was not simply a misunderstanding. Something had been hidden beneath that house for many years. The house belonged to a man named Josef Fritzl. From the outside, the property looked completely ordinary. It stood on a quiet street in the Austrian town of Amstetten. Neighbors passed by every day, cars drove along the road, families lived nearby. Nothing about the building suggested a hidden world existed beneath it, which raises an unsettling question investigators later asked. How can something so extraordinary remain hidden inside an ordinary home? To understand how the secret lasted so long, investigators had to go back to the summer of 1984. That year, a teenager named Josef Fritzl disappeared from the family home. At the time, the explanation seemed simple. Her father told authorities that she had run away. According to his story, she had joined a religious group and chosen to leave her family behind. Soon afterward, a letter appeared. The message claimed to be written by Elizabeth herself. In the letter, she explained that she had left voluntarily and did not want to return home. For local authorities, the situation seemed unusual, but not impossible. Teenagers sometimes left home unexpectedly, particularly during times of family conflict. Without clear evidence of wrongdoing, there was little reason to suspect a serious crime. But one small detail would later raise serious questions. The explanation in the letter closely matched the story her father had already been telling neighbors. At the time, however, no one could prove anything was wrong. Life in Amstetten continued normally. The Fritzl house remained exactly where it always been. From the outside, nothing seemed unusual, but beneath the building, something had already begun. Years later, investigators would ask a haunting question. What was really happening behind those basement walls? The answer began to emerge when authorities examined construction work carried out in the house decades earlier. During the late 1970s and early 1980s, Josef Fritzl had carried out extensive renovation work in the basement. Neighbors occasionally heard drilling or hammering, but the explanation sounded reasonable. He said he was expanding storage areas. He said he was installing electrical systems. He
He said he was improving the structure of the house. Because he had technical experience and frequently worked on his property himself, no one questioned it further, but investigators later discovered something very different. The basement had been transformed into a concealed complex of rooms hidden behind reinforced concrete walls. The entrance had been carefully disguised. A heavy steel door protected the space, and only one person controlled access to it. This raised another chilling question. If no one else could open that door, what was happening inside? Years passed. Then something unusual began happening at the Fritzl house. One day, a baby appeared at the doorstep. Josef told authorities the child had been left there, along with a letter written by Elizabeth. According to the message, she could not care for the baby and wanted her parents to raise the child. Authorities reviewed the situation. Because the letter appeared to come from the mother, the explanation seemed possible. Eventually, the child was placed into the household. But then, it happened again. Another infant appeared. Another letter arrived. And once again, the message claimed Elizabeth wanted her parents to raise the child. To outsiders, the story seemed strange but consistent. Authorities believed Elizabeth was alive somewhere and occasionally returning to leave her children behind. But investigators later noticed something troubling. If Elizabeth had truly run away to start a new life, why would she keep bringing children back to the same house?
Why had no one in the town ever seen her return? And why were the letters always delivered in a way that no one could verify? For years, those questions remained unanswered. Meanwhile, beneath the house, the hidden rooms remained sealed. Behind the reinforced door, Elizabeth had never actually left the property. For 24 years, she remained inside the concealed basement. During that time, several children entered the world within that hidden space. Some remained inside the underground rooms. Others were brought upstairs and presented as abandoned infants. And year after year, the explanation continued. Neighbors believed the story. Authorities accepted the letters. Life in the town continued normally until an unexpected medical emergency changed everything. In April of 2008, one of the children living in the basement became seriously ill. Her condition worsened quickly. Medical treatment became urgently necessary. At that moment, the decades-long deception began to collapse. Josef eventually brought the girl to a hospital, but once doctors began examining her condition, something immediately felt wrong. The girl had no medical history, no records, no documentation explaining where she had lived. Doctors began asking a critical question: where was the child's mother? Authorities issued a public request asking Elizabeth Fritzl to come forward. Days passed. There was no response. Then something unexpected happened. A woman walked into the hospital. She said she was Elizabeth, and as investigators began speaking with her, the truth slowly emerged. She had never joined a religious group. She had never run away. Instead, she explained that she had been confined inside the basement of her father's house for 24 years. Investigators listened carefully. The claim sounded unbelievable, but when police returned to the house and searched the basement again, they found the concealed entrance exactly where she described it. Behind the steel door, officers discovered the underground rooms. Inside were 3 children who had spent their entire lives in that hidden environment. The discovery shocked everyone involved in the investigation. But as investigators continued examining the basement, the full reality of the situation slowly began to emerge. Elizabeth explained that she had been kept inside those concealed rooms for many years, isolated from the outside world and completely dependent on the person who controlled the entrance to the basement. During that time, several children had been born while she remained confined in the underground space. Over the course of the investigation, authorities confirmed that 6 children in total had been born during those years. However, the living situation of those children had been divided between 2 very different worlds inside the same house.
3 of the children had remained in the hidden basement with Elizabeth and had spent their entire lives inside the concealed rooms, never experiencing the outside world. The other 3 children had been taken upstairs and introduced into the household under a very different explanation. For years, Josef Fritzl had told his wife and others that these infants had been left outside the home, along with letters written by Elizabeth. According to the messages, Elizabeth claimed she was unable to raise the children herself and wanted her parents to take care of them. Because the letters appeared convincing at the time, authorities accepted the explanation, and those children were eventually raised inside the family home above ground. Meanwhile, their siblings remained hidden beneath the house. For investigators, the discovery revealed a long and carefully maintained deception that had allowed the situation to remain concealed for decades. From the outside, the house appeared completely ordinary, but beneath it, a separate hidden environment had existed for more than 20 years. By the time officers finished documenting the basement and confirming Elizabeth's account, the scale of the case had become impossible to ignore. Within hours, Josef Fritzl was taken into custody. During interrogation, investigators confronted him with the physical evidence found inside the house: the concealed rooms, the reinforced door, the layout Elizabeth had described. Faced with overwhelming proof, he eventually admitted to constructing the hidden basement and controlling access to it for decades. The case quickly drew international attention. In 2009, Josef Fritzl stood trial in Austria. Prosecutors presented detailed evidence documenting how the basement had been built, how the deception involving letters had been maintained, and how the situation remained hidden for so many years. After reviewing the evidence, the court found him guilty of multiple serious criminal offenses. He was sentenced to life imprisonment and placed in a secure psychiatric facility. For Elizabeth and the children, the years that followed focused on recovery and rebuilding their lives away from public attention. Authorities provided extensive support to help them adapt to a world that had been largely unfamiliar for so long. For investigators, the case left behind an unsettling lesson. From the outside, the house had always looked completely ordinary. Neighbors passed by it every day without suspecting anything unusual. But beneath the floors of that quiet home, a hidden world had existed for more than 2 decades. And the discovery raised one final question that still echoes through the town of Amstetten. How many secrets can remain hidden in places we believe we know so well? In the end, the investigation that began with a medical emergency uncovered a truth that had been buried for 24 years. A truth that had been hidden behind an ordinary door inside an ordinary house on an ordinary street, until one day, the silence finally ended.